Hello and welcome to the Galt House in Louisville, Kentucky. So happy to be here for our fourth Derby in a row. Our man Lance George here does a fantastic job at the hotel. And I have to say, being here now for 4 years running the Galt House, this is the place to stay when you come for the Derby. You people you're doing it right. Or if you're coming in and visiting, that's great too. Lots of Derby festival type activities here all week long. We are in the place to be, Louisville, Kentucky. We are getting close. I think between my partner and I, we've done approximately 567 podcasts. Is that right? Or did you do a 568th at this point?
No, we've done a lot more than that, I think. Feels like that.
The man next to me, of course, my partner in crime in the In the Money Media Network. Also, you probably know him from Fox and the work he does there on America's Day at the Races. Please give a warm welcome to Jonathan Kinchin.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. That's very nice.
Nice.
Honestly, the best pop I've ever gotten in my life. That's great. Thank you very much.
We love this show because, when we started this 4 years ago, we didn't know. We were it was make it up as we go along, and we did it. And it was a fairly similar format to shows that we were doing on the regular. Our business has changed a lot in the last 4 years. Basically, the new audience seems to be very, very YouTube centric. And to do YouTube content right, you listen to Mr. Beast or whomever, it's a lot about quick hits, right? We have a lot of videos that are 5 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. In the old days, it was us twice a week talking for an hour. We're going to tap into that energy. And as much, I think we're doing the right thing with all the YouTube stuff, but I don't know about you. I miss just being able to bullshit about the races and do whatever like we're going to do on this show.
Yeah, no, I love shooting the shit. I mean, I think there's a sweet spot in between. I think 3 minutes, 5 minutes is great. But I also think that the long form stuff that we get to do every now and then where we just make fun of each other, I think goes well. I make fun of you at the top of every one of my individual.
I always listen. I love that.
I just make shit up as I'm going.
I love it. Why let the truth get in the way of a good story, right? This is horse racing. Let's dive in, and I'm going to start off.
Hold on. If you're here,
yeah, go ahead.
And you have your apps open or you're watching online, I am going to bet a double.
Okay,
starting right here at Churchill, the 9 to the 5.
All right, I'll get my twinspires.com app open here, and then we'll have a little bit of look.
Going to play along.
One thing that I want to do is give credit. If you're a newer player, you're interested in playing horses, you want to learn a little bit more, there is a wonderful way to play, and it's actually how Jonathan and I met many moons ago, handicapping contests, similar to poker tournaments, but for horse racing. They have them on a few different websites, but our partner is twinspires.com. If you go on there, there's a tournaments tab, and you can see all the options. So there'll be one for the Oaks Day where you can win into their major, the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge. I think just from looking around the lobby here, I think there's some people who'd enjoy getting involved. So check that out at twinspires.com. We'll give them that plug here. All right, your bet is in?
I'm in.
You're ready for your first Derby question?
Of course.
Okay, first Derby question. What are we going to do with the favorite Renegade? The vibes around this horse are not what you typically expect from a Derby favorite, to the point where I'm not even sure if he's going to be the Derby favorite. Are you buying any of the narratives around this horse? How important will he be in your wagering philosophy on Saturday?
Well, is there a Derby advance? Let me see. I just want to.
There is a Derby advance. There's probably not a ton in it, but it is worth checking.
Yeah, let's just double check
some real time price information.
I want to answer this question honestly. There's $1.4 million in the pool right now, and Renegade is 5-1.
Okay. Is he the favorite? Out of curiosity, is anybody bet below 5-1? This can change, of course. Parimutuel betting, the odds will change up.
No, he's the 5-1 favorite.
5-1 favorite. Okay.
So my whole thing is that I don't think the rail is a problem for a horse with his style. I think a more forward horse would struggle with that inside post with a bunch of horses trying to come over on you. But he's going to take back, make one run. And I liken it to Sierra Leone a couple years ago. Drew the 2-hole.
Yep, similar.
Ended up being a Breeders' Cup Classic winner. Was an inch away from winning the Kentucky Derby. And he just got unlucky, got beat. But he didn't necessarily have a bad trip from that inside position. And so for me, if Renegade is good enough, he'll win from down there.
Sure.
The question I have is he good enough? I do think he's really good. I don't necessarily, want to argue if he's, a bad horse or not. But I don't
He's
think
obviously a good horse.
that in this situation that I'm willing to, from a win bet standpoint, take Renegade at 5-1. Now, with that said, I think you know my betting personality. I'm never going to be a win bet in the Derby guy, ever.
It's the best pool of the year.
No, not for me. If you think the win bet is the good pool, then I think all the multi-race wagers ending in that bet is even a better pool.
I would argue that there's just so much public money in the Derby win pool itself, even compared to like any other race all year. That's how you see, like, remember a few years ago, there was a horse called My Boy Jack, perfectly respectable horse. He should have been a long shot, 15-1, 20-1. I guess because everybody has a cousin or an uncle or a friend named Jack, horse ends up going off at 4-1.
Shout out Jack Jenkins.
That's right. One of the great what we call underlays when the price is shorter than it should be, really in racing history. So I think that gets repeated every year one way or another.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm not really in the neighborhood of betting 100 to win 500, the neighborhood of betting 1,000 to win 5,000. If I have an opinion, I'd rather bet 100 or 1,000 to win 100,000. You know what I'm saying?
And that sounds braggadocious, but he's done it on this day before.
I don't mean it in a braggadocious way. I just mean it's like the Derby to me offers a unbelievable opportunity because there's 20 horses in the field that if you can narrow it down, you can make money with the other stake races of great horses through the day leading into the Kentucky Derby. And so, like, if I went to sleep, if I had $1,000 to bet and I bet it on, Renegade or Further Ado or Commandment or Chief Wallaby, and I woke up in the next morning and I had $10,000 in my account, I would be happy, but I would also the entire way to the airport say, fuck, man, I should have probably played the pick six, get alive to this horse, and I could have left with 200,000. That's just the way my brain works.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own betting personality. It's one of the things we talk about all the time on the different shows. And you might be somebody who's content to be there and try to. I had a group, I was doing a little public speaking gig and had a group of nice folks from California who were newish to racing. And I told them, for their purposes, the bet to make on Derby Day might be almost the opposite of what Jonathan's saying, trying to score out. I said, do a show parlay. Put all your money, everybody puts in $20. One person in the group picks for each race, say, and you pick one horse that has to finish 1, 2, or 3. That horse wins, you roll it over, that horse busts, you can start it again. I've had so many fun nights with friends, newcomer type friends, running show parlays through 4 or 5 races at Saratoga. You get your dinner paid for and you have a chance to win with your friends. And for me, and I don't know if you feel this way still, but for me, the winning with people is still, it adds a lot of juice. Maybe it's the pundit side of me. Obviously it doesn't put any more in your bank account. Sometimes it puts less in your bank account because you're sharing. But at the same time, that to me is a vibe that I absolutely.
No, I mean, I think that if you're, I look at this group right here sitting here and I think to myself, like, they're all going to bet their own shit. They're going to bet this, they're going to bet that. But I do think that tomorrow morning or Saturday morning, you should wake up. Everyone should put in $100 or $50 or whatever your comfort level is. And I think you should do some group shit. Because there's nothing more fun than like celebrating it together, feeling it together, and also your wagering power increases too when you combine, right? Like you can play a pick five you can put in $2,000 because everyone puts in $200 or whatever it might be, and yeah, no, I mean, it's like I look back at my greatest scores and my biggest scores, and the ones that pop up are the ones that involve people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, going to the machine and getting the cash out and everyone's taking a picture with the money. And it's like, it's more fun than when you're like, I'm
sitting in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More fun.
Pumping the fist. It's not the same.
Yeah,
not the same
fun.
juice. Let's talk about the pace in this year's Kentucky Derby, JK. We did a whole video about the pace. I think I'll plug this 6 times during the show probably, but we have this YouTube channel, In the Money Media YouTube channel. Almost whatever angle you want to look at the Derby from, we've got something on there that you can you can check out. But I want to talk to you about the pace specifically. Derby paces are always fast. How fast is it going to be? Before we talk about your short list of horses that can win this race, what running style will the winner have? I'll ask it that way.
Well, I think that one of the things I've learned as a horse player, and people always ask me, like, what's your best advice for being a horse player, is I think the answer to being the best horse player you can be, and honestly, better in general, or honestly, anything, is like accepting and knowing what you don't know and accepting that instead of lying that you do know it. I think lying that you do know it makes, it sets you up for failure.
Then you'll be no different than AI.
Yeah. So to me, I feel like there's a lot of circumstances that are completely out of my brain and out of my control to understand. Uh, what's going to happen with a horse like Litmus Test, Potente, who had an unbelievable workout the other day, unbelievably fast workout the other day. Is Bob going to tell one of those riders to go? I don't care what happens. It is in the realm of possibility that Bob tells one of them, I don't care what happens, make the front. I can't control that. I have no idea if that's going to happen or not. If that happens, the pace is going to be supersonic. If Bob, he won't, tells one of them to take back, make one run, changes things.
Yep.
What happens with further ado? Does he break? Does he not break? 6-speed, is he going to go to the front? Is he not going to go to the front? I will say this, though. The way that the horses that I'm talking about, right? What number is Potente? The 7, 8,
Great
7?
great podcasting here, folks.
No. The reason I'm asking, okay, so Litmus Test is the 4, and 6-speed is the 17. Those are 2 horses that I'm almost convinced are going to be forward. What happens is when they're spread out like that, between the 4 and the 17, they both go. It increases their chances that they're going to push the gas a little bit more to hold their position. 6-speed's going to try to clear horses to get over. Litmus Test is going to hold its position, and I think it speeds it up a little bit. I don't think it's going to be the fastest Derby pace we've ever seen, but it's going to be honest enough that I think that a good horse can win close, and a good horse will win from off of it. I know that's like sitting on the fence, but that's
it's your honest answer. It's your honest answer. Let's get into, you mentioned further ado. I think the more I look at this draw, I'm convinced that both of these Brad Cox runners are set up to get really good trips in this race. And the way you're describing it, I'm guessing you kind of agree. I want you to separate those two for me. No sitting on the fence here. If you could only have one of Commandment or Further Ado, who's on your ticket?
Yeah, well, my top pick is Further Ado. But anyone who is close to me or I've talked to about it, I've tell them that I'm going to be alive to 5 horses. I'm going to be alive to 5 horses. I'm going to bet exactas with 5 horses on top. Further Ado will be my top choice. But I will say this, the difference, I think, between the two of them is I think Commandment is so consistent and exiting the most productive prep, I think, this year. I think the Puma is really good. He's one of the 5 horses I think can win. Chief Wallaby is working outstanding. One of the 5 horses I think can win. Commandment beat them both on the square.
Yep.
So how do I not think he's got a shot?
Or A level for you.
1,000%. Now, with that said, if you ask me who I project is going to get the best trip, like lay it all out, all the circumstances, who's going to get the most comfortable, beautiful, sexy trip, is Further Ado. That's why I picked him. But if someone told me that I had to play a pick 6 and I couldn't use Commandment, I would tell them I'm not going to play.
Okay. That's a good.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I need them both. I need them both.
Yeah.
I just think Further Ado is going to get the best trip. But if the pace is fast, too fast, it will hurt Further Ado and set up great for Commandment. If the pace is too slow, it hurts Commandment. It sets up great for Further Ado.
Right. I think that's great. That's a terrific answer. Does it bother you at all with Commandment that presumably both Irad Ortiz Jr. and Flavian Pratt turned down the opportunity to ride? Why not?
Oh, it's politics. You guys got to understand that. I always say it. I say it on a Saturday at Saratoga in the middle of the summer. You cannot play the game of musical jockeys if you don't know the answer to all the questions. Because what happens a lot in those situations is, this is my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not, but I would imagine that Irad Ortiz and Steve Rushing, his agent, said it wouldn't be good business for us to take off of Mike Rapoli and Todd Pletcher, who we win a lot of races with.
Yep.
And they have a lot of really good horses, and he's a really good horse. Let's just stick here. Flavian Pratt. Do I think that he picked emerging market in Seth Klarman and Klarvich Stables and Chad Brown over the possibility of riding a Commandment or a Further Ado? Yeah, I mean, maybe, but it's also the truth of it is that Flavian got his start in New York because of Chad and Klarovich stables. And
Yep.
why wouldn't he just stick with them in a situation where there's not a lot separating between the two horses? I think that following the rider situation, especially this year, will lead you to nowhere.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I want to ask you about the Puma. Is it true? What's the real story about Taylor Swift potentially buying into this horse? Have you heard that that's actually true, or is that just a rumor? Is it just typical racetrack nonsense?
Pete, you and I are very busy around this time of year. I don't give a shit what Taylor Swift is doing. I, I saw it. Honestly, this is the truth of the matter. I'm so busy this week that the other day I woke up and I was laying next to my wife and I looked at my phone and I was on Instagram and I started scrolling and I said, "What am I doing? I have so much shit to do." I logged out of my Instagram and I will log back in on Sunday.
That's
I have no
awesome.
idea. I mean, maybe not. I don't give a damn.
You don't know. You don't know, and you don't care. I just think it's an interesting
Well,
talking
I mean, it's
point.
cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, I mean, we always want people to come to our sport, and I'm certainly not going to knock one of the biggest stars in the world. She's not as big as Beyonce, but but yeah, great. That's fine. Awesome.
Let's talk about another horse you just mentioned in passing, Emerging Market. Is he on your short list of 5? And do we really think a horse that's only had 2 career starts can win a race like the Kentucky Derby?
He's not on my short list of 5. He's 6th.
Okay.
Um, the reason being is that he's made 2 career starts. I'm not a big stats guy because stats don't matter until they matter. Like, people break records all the time. It's just like the thing I hate the most in the world is when people say the New York Jets are like 0-48 against the Packers when they play on Sunday night in the rain. Like, who gives a shit? It's not even the same teams. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. So I'm not a big person about, he's only run twice. What I will say about Emerging Market is the fact that he won first time out going a mile on the dirt in his first start impressively with a 97 buyer. That's serious racehorse stuff.
Yeah.
Like, serious racehorse stuff.
Future grade 1 winner stuff.
Then he comes back and he
Yeah.
wins the mile and 3/16 Louisiana Derby in his second career start. That's serious racehorse stuff. I will also say this with no information. I'm just saying if Paladin, who would have been Chad Brown's best horse in the race, who would have likely been battling for favoritism in the Derby, if he would have run, I do believe Chad would have probably skipped this race and ran Emerging Market in the Preakness. With that said, all of the racetrack clocker types, I keep seeing his name.
Yeah.
And I also have a personal relationship with Chad. I know Chad well, and he has a sense about him that he thinks this horse is going to run well. I've just seen it in interviews. I haven't talked to him about it, but this horse is giving him a little bit of gas, and he's feeling pretty good. I just need him to prove it. And like I said, he's 6th on my list of 5. If
what does that mean effectively in terms of your wagering? Does that mean he's not on tickets? He's a backup. He's on some and not others. How are you going to carve that up in terms of the bets you're going to make in a bet like, say, the pick 5?
The honest answer is that at 6:57 p.m., if I'm getting my ass kicked and I have one more shot, I'll let him beat me.
Right.
If I'm flying high, I've been killing him a little bit. Like, I've been banging here, boom, 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 and I've got a little extra, and I feel good about it. I'll use him defensively.
Game time decision.
Yeah,
Game time decision is what it sounds like for him. Let's talk about Bill Mott, a guy who has been the subject of numerous conversations in our time doing the podcast. He's doing something unusual in here. I mean, it's not like he doesn't run horses in the Derby. That's not the unusual part. It is pretty unusual, I think, for him to be running a horse with as little experience as Chief Wallaby has. So to me, when a really good trainer deviates from an established pattern like that, whether it's the Chad example you were just giving or Bill Mott with Chief Wallaby, I take extra notice because, the guy's in the Hall of Fame for a reason. And I think he's a really interesting horse. It sounded like he is on your short list. What is the case for him to step up and win on Saturday?
Well, I think it's just like, that strength of schedule idea, right? It's like, I believe the Florida Derby is the best prep. Not every year, but this year.
Oh, is that your race?
That's the race. Yeah, we'll
Let's
pull it up.
watch. Let's watch
Hold
that.
on. No. I can do two things at once. So
Keep talking.
I do think that's the best race. The other thing is that my time attending this race, betting this race, watching this race, seeing this race is that one thing is pretty constant, and that is the horse that has that super working amazing buzz always runs well.
Yeah.
It was American Pharaoh. It was Animal Kingdom. Sovereignty was one of those horses. The list goes on of the horses that are working really well, that run well. Mandaloon, who was second, eventually got promoted after the disqualification of
Medina Spirit.
Medina Spirit. So, oh hi, Acacia. Oh, and Ray too. So that's it for me, Chief Wallaby. He puts the blinkers on. It seems like everyone loves the way he's moving in the morning. I think he's going to improve. And I definitely want to have him on side.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Yeah, both he and Emerging Market are really interesting when it comes down to some of this newfangled data. I'm very excited to start playing around with some of this new GPS data that's available for racing. Have you messed around with that stuff at all?
No, I will.
Are you interested? You're not dismissive of it. It's just the time.
I mean, I think in this game, like if you're not looking for an edge to look at something different than everyone else is looking at, this game has become so sophisticated that like everything that you see is baked into the number you're getting. So there's no real edge unless you do something different, see something different, feel something different.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting avenue for study, something we'll definitely be talking about on future podcasts. With that in mind, I joked before about AI making things up, but I do think it's a really interesting tool potentially for horse players. There were people at my lunch. We had the racing form. They're taking pictures of the racing form and they're feeding it into the AI. Are you going to get home here in the lane?
Home and hose down.
Okay, there we go. There we go. We got first winner of the weekend, or maybe you had a few earlier. Maybe you had a few earlier.
Easy game.
Easy game. The phrase one only ever uses with the heaviest of ironies. I love that. But back to the AI question. I mean, do you think is this just something to mess around with, or are there serious applications for?
I think that AI. I think the thing that AI can do for you is digest, dissect, and organize information at a rate that is impossible to do before. Right. I mean, you could think about like looking at past performances and copying and pasting and putting shit in or putting it in manually and typing figures and typing this and that and the other. You can do some pretty cool stuff with AI by allowing it to do that work for you that was impossible for us to digest as individuals prior.
Yeah, I mean, the coding stuff you can do, like building models and stuff, it's really interesting. But I do imagine this Derby more than any before, people are just going to be typing things into their little chat bot. And I'm sure if a favorite wins, AI will be taking victory laps.
But the deal with that is, and not to go down a rabbit hole about that, but you put bad information in AI, it'll give you bad information.
Exactly.
You ask the wrong question, it will answer the wrong question. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. No, for sure.
It is what it is. The idiots out there in the world who are playing around with AI that don't understand the game will get bad information.
Right. That's almost guaranteed. That's good. It gives us a job. Let's talk about a horse because I want to give a shout out to our friend Eric DeCoster. He does such a great job behind the scenes all year long, putting together our Kentucky Derby top 10 lists. Very early on, he's an early adopter of Incredibolt, this horse who on paper I struggled to see it, but I'm tempted to try to keep him on side in some way, if only so I don't have to admit to Eric, who does such a good job with those lists for us, that I didn't use him. Does he have any chance, Incredibolt?
Well, a chance to win.
A chance to win. Does he have a chance?
Look, Rich Strike won.
Right.
Mind That Bird won.
Right.
So yeah, he's got a shot.
Any horse can win.
Here's the thing about that is like I think it's just a cool story. I think to follow about Riley Mott, obviously being the son of Bill Mott. His dad, he was an assistant for his father when Country House got put up, when Maximum Security was disqualified. Riley also went on his own recently. They also had a tragedy in their family. If you followed racing at all, they had a young daughter who was diagnosed with cancer and sadly passed. So yeah, man, I'm rooting like hell for Riley Mott. I think he'll have a better horse at some point. I will say that it seems like Incredibolt's been doing well, likes it at Churchill. but he's got to get a little bit faster.
I know you're not a huge trifecta player, but if you were a trifecta player, would you try to keep him involved underneath?
Certainly an underneath type.
We got a gift here. Look at this. Look at this. A box of booze, I think. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how this goes. We've never done a tasting mid podcast before, but we'll make it work.
So what's going on here?
What do we got here? We got a little. We got a new
Herradura?
sponsor, Herradura.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love when sponsors just show up out of nowhere.
I mean, this
happening.
is great. A little reposado. That's one of my favorites.
Look at this. We will see you at the track. How about that? See you at the track.
Very good. We got a paddock paloma recipe on there, and we're gonna taste this in real time.
Oh my gosh! All right.
You were bragging about your multitasking, so you work on that.
Okay.
Or unless you want to take it home closed, or he's like, I'm drinking this.
Oh, wait a second. Airplane.
Yeah. So if you're gonna think about how we want to handle this, but if you want to drink it
well,
now,
see, there's the argument is that I have 4 days to finish it,
and a lot of friends right here in the lobby.
Yeah. How about we do that? How about we get some glasses and we'll share?
Yeah, we'll share.
Sharing's caring, right?
That's
what they
right.
say.
We're talking about winning and
internet.
losing together, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, another trope.
And we're alive in this double. Who played the double that I said to play? Did you play the double?
Yeah, these guys.
You played it?
These guys are in.
We're cooking.
So
$7.50 for $2, I think is what it closed at.
Not bad.
All right.
We'll be off air by the time the next race.
Yes,
probably.
we'll have to celebrate.
We'll hopefully we'll stick around. Oh, thank you. This is great. What a team we have here. So there's a lot of tropes in the history of
do you mind?
of the podcast. One of my favorites. We haven't seen any evidence of yet today, but we probably will get there before the show's over. JK tries math, fails. That's one of my favorites. Bill Mott with a target. We talked about that one. Another one is JK's deep affection for Bob Baffert runners very often. And we make the joke about him donning the silver wig when it's time to tout a Baffert runner. Any chance on any level the silver wig might be in effect on Saturday?
On Saturday? Absolutely.
Okay.
In the Derby? No. Yeah, no, he's got a horse I love. I'm going to be playing the Kentucky Derby betting challenge. And if you're watching the races and crude velocity wins, just know that I'm doing okay.
Race 8 on Saturday. We got a little word for crude velocity there from JK. But let's get back to the Derby. So you're completely dismissing all 3 spots. He's not hitting the board.
No, I look. Like Bob is a very intentional person, and he has a lot of good horses. He trains them aggressively, and when they show up here, they typically mean business. I just don't think that this group is probably his best group. And while Potente, I think, is probably got a shot, I don't think Litmus Test has a shot. Look, if I owned a horse that qualified for the Kentucky Derby, it'd be real hard for me not to watch that horse break from the gate, the excitement of the weekend.
The walkover. I mean, it's a whole experience.
Yeah, and so, like, I don't mind when he has these partners that are spending millions of dollars on horses. They qualify for the Derby, like, shit, man, run, whatever. It's fine. I don't think this is his best shot.
What do you think generally about the form of that Santa Anita Derby? If one of the California horses wins, I'm intuiting from this and other conversations we've had that if a California horse wins, you will not be participating. Is that correct?
This is my honest answer. If a California horse wins, I will Uber X to the airport. If a California horse doesn't win, then I'll likely Uber Black.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's I like that way of framing the world. You got good luck finding your Uber at Churchill Downs on Saturday.
No, I'm not going to Uber from Churchill. I don't have a car set up. I'm going to Uber to the airport. Yeah, to the airport.
There you go. Japan. The Japanese have been famous these last several years for winning races all over the world. I think they'll win a Kentucky Derby eventually. Do you think they could have a horse? They've had horses run in the top 4 multiple times. Do you think either of these Japanese runners has a chance to be heard from?
I think that when it comes to the Japanese horses, we're guessing a little bit, right? We have so much information about the American horses. We have so much information from a speed figure standpoint, from trip notes, video, evaluation compared to other horses, workout reports, where were they bought, who are their trainers. There's so many things we can digest when it comes to horses that have been running in America. When it comes to horses that are in Japan or Dubai, we don't know a lot. A lot of it is guessing. And the one thing that I have leaned on is the experts in the morning that are watching them all gallop and work. And Forever Young had a buzz about him, and he almost won. Arguably, probably should have won. And he turned out, obviously, to be a freaking awesome horse. I have not felt the same thing about Wonder Dean and Denon Bourbon. I have not heard that ooh, ooh talk. And if I heard that, then he would sneak into my 6-7 spot. He still wouldn't sneak into my top five, but he was sneaking into my 6-7 spot. I just haven't heard it. So, I think sometimes in racing, especially in horse racing, and this day is like, you don't want to go home being wrong, but you have to be willing to be wrong. And I think that's where I stand when it comes to emerging market and Denon Bourbon. Those are my 6-7 right now. If they beat me, they beat me. Right. Shit happens. Yeah. It's I've been more right and been wrong than now, and I accept that. And I think sometimes you have to just kind of like let that ride. You know what I mean? You can't get too caught up in it.
All right, those 6-7 you're talking about, that's the win end. That's mostly what you're involved in. But people here, they love long shots. Everybody loves a long shot. Give me a horse, JK, north of 15-1 that people might be able to use on tickets somewhere, even if they're not on your short list to win. Maybe one to come and run in underneath in a bet like the Trifecta or Superfecta.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, there's a couple that I like that have scratched. I thought Full Effort was one of those. He scratched this morning. I would say Golden Tempo. And let me be clear. He's kind of been a punchline for me in terms of like being very slow. His races have not been very fast. But he has a style in which he's not going to get caught up in the nonsense. You know what I mean? He's going to kind of hop away from there. He's well trained by who I think one of the best trainers in the country right now in Cherie DeVoe. He's going to kind of just take back, make one run. And while some of them are trying as hard as they possibly can to win, being aggressive, I think Jose Ortiz and Golden Tempo are going to kind of just take back, make one run. And I would think he makes a lot of sense as a horse to kind of pick up some pieces late.
All right, I'm going to ask you another betting question next. This one is about another bet that I know a lot of people find completely irresistible. It's very hard to hit. It's very fun to try. We did a video a couple of years ago called How to Make $100,000 on the Kentucky Derby, and we focused on the Derby Superfecta and how one might approach that. How have your thoughts changed? What are you thinking this year specifically? If somebody asked you for advice on how to play the Super, what would you tell them?
Well, I always tell people that aren't like, big horse players. I always tell them, get a group together, do an 8-horse Superfecta box. So 8 horses for 4 spots. It's $1,600 and change. It's, somewhere between 16 and 17. It's $1,680, I think is what it costs.
JK tries math, succeeds?
Succeeds.
Yeah.
For $1 Superfecta. I think that's a lot of fun. Especially if you have a group, you can kind of, everyone puts their horse in and you fill it up and you got your 8 and, it can score out over $100,000, obviously. I think if you're a more established horse player, I think making a Superfecta wheel where you're using, for me, it would be like a 5 horses in first, 5 horses in second, and then kind of a little bit more in third and fourth, can help with the ticket price a little bit.
Money team hit it as part of our bet share, but hey, we tried 1680 for $1 if you want to do the 8-horse Super. Am I remembering this right? Was that a bet that your dad would do?
No, my dad was, God bless him. No, he was just a Superfecta box guy.
Gotcha. He was just a box.
He loves a 10-cent Super. He was probably mad on Derby Day when it went to $1, but he got a lot of satisfaction in watching me do well. Thank God he was with us in 2015 when I walked out of that racetrack with $150,000. He was there. So
that's awesome.
Not with me, but he was here, so we got to check it out.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember, I got to meet him in Vegas. Remember, we went to brunch at one of the handicapping things out there, and I made the mistake of trying to pay the check. He didn't like that.
No.
All right. You know what? Let's throw it open. Let's see if anybody from the audience. We got about 8 minutes left before we got to stop because the next band is going to sound check. But I've got loads more for him. But if anybody out there has a question, feel free to shout it out, and I'll repeat it or walk up and shout. Yes, sir. List those top 5.
Yeah, sure. Renegade, the 1/6 commandment. I still keep forgetting what number the Puma is. Hold on. The 9, the Puma. The 12 Chief Wallaby, and the 18 Further Ado. And listen, I'm not realistic to the fact that those are probably the top 5 choices. So like I know I'm not like cracking any eggs and like saying the smartest thing in the world and like, but here's the thing. I'll tell you about a long shot that can win. But when you wake up on Sunday morning and the horse didn't win, I've done you no favors. I'm just telling you how I am legitimately going to bet my money. I will put in, not just me, but with some groups I'm with and things like that. I will put in, no exaggeration, $30,000 worth of pick sixes leading to those 5 horses. I'm not just legitimately how I feel about it. Last year, I put in that much money into Fierceness. He ran 17th.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And last year, who was last year?
Sovereignty.
Oh, last year, Sovereignty. I thought that Sovereignty and Journalism were the only horses that could win. They ran 1-2. It's the Kentucky Derby. Everyone wants to wear that badge of honor that I picked the Derby winner.
It's worth more than money, you know?
Yeah, but I've learned that it's not.
Huh.
I want to get on the plane hungover on Sunday morning, not depressed. That's my goal. And the best way to do that is to not lose. And let me elaborate on my top 5 idea because I think it's important.
Go ahead. That's great.
I truly believe that of those 5 horses, whoever gets the best trip will win. Now, who do I think's the best horse out of all of them? Probably Renegade. Probably. Or Further Ado. Who do I want in the Travers? Probably one of those 2. But to me, on Saturday, Renegade is my 5th choice. But I still think he's an awesome animal. I just, this is a betting game. There's odds and there's shit going on. You can't just, I think some people get so caught up in like, you'll watch people that are like, and I don't know what you want to call our position, but in our position about picking horses and people that care what we say. Like people, there's going to be some guy that's going to pick fucking Intrepido or something, and it's like, because they're allergic to picking favorites. And Intrepido's going to run last. And they're going to go home and go to sleep and feel happy about it. But like, I bet I can't afford to have bad opinions. You know what I mean? Like I can't afford to just tell you something you want me to say that I love a horse. No, I think that these 5 horses are going to win. And I have a strategy to make money on those 5 horses winning. And there's a way to do that.
It's going to be fun to see how it plays out. Well, we could probably do another question too. Speaking of shout outs, speaking of people who bet money and have great opinions that we get to listen to, I do want to say hello out in the audience. Mikey P helping us out, Mike Probosi. He's here with us. Jackson Muniz from the Gallop Out podcast. He does fantastic work. A hand for the guys who make us look good all the time. Anybody else have a Derby specific or any other question on the card? I think we've covered sort of a best bet on the day. We've covered the Derby things off pretty good. But yeah, if anybody has anything else specific, otherwise, I think I'm ready to. I think we're getting pretty ready to send this home. We'll let the band get going. Will give us a chance to hang out for a bit. But what about you, JK? Any other? We have done all these shows, but is there something else from the Derby season that you want to get off your chest? A question for me? Anything to help us fill this last 90 seconds?
Selfishly, I'm rooting like hell for a Triple Crown run at Saratoga. If you haven't been to the Belmont at Saratoga, I'm sure a lot of you have been to Saratoga, but the energy that week is insane. It's really cool, and like I think it'd be really fun if we had a horse running for the Triple Crown the last time that it will be run at Saratoga.
So who? I guess you already answered this.
Whoever wins this race, it will have elevated themselves to another level. My fear is, which is one of our bold predictions on our YouTube video, is that it'll be a photo. If it's a photo, then whoever the winner is, the other horse is going to be very dangerous
Yes.
in 2 weeks. But I'm hoping someone wins by 6.
Right. But if you were to pick one who was capable of the Triple Crown, I'm assuming your shortlist would be Renegade Further Ado based on what you said before.
And sadly, it's all of them.
Right.
Because that's what's great about the Derby is we're still learning things. We're still figuring shit out. So whoever wins, we learn something, right? Like I didn't know Sovereignty was Sovereignty. I thought he was good.
Yeah.
I thought he could win. I felt the same way about him that I feel about Chief Wallaby, or I feel about Renegade, or I feel about Commandment. I think he's pretty good, but I don't know for sure. And then Sovereignty won this race impressively, came back in the Belmont, ran by journalism like he was tied to the quarter pole. That's when I realized you learn through this process, and so I'm excited.
We're going to learn. We're going to learn a lot on Saturday. Thank you one more time to all our friends here at the Galt House. We got great help. Lance does such a great job. We appreciate him putting these shows together. We appreciate so many repeat people from last year here. Great to see all of you. That's awesome. And if you're watching on YouTube, check out the Galt House and come join us Wednesday night next year before the Derby. Thursday night, excuse me. Forgot what day it is. It's that kind of a week. But really appreciate everybody. Thank you, JK. Always a pleasure doing these with you. And let's as Sinatra would say, it's boozing time. Let's head over to the bar.
Come get some Herradura.
Yeah, we'll pour some of that bottle out. Thanks to our new sponsors at Herradura as well. That's it. We're gonna wrap this up here. For JK, I'm Peter Thomas Fornatel. May you win all your photos. Boom.